Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Constellation versus Team Space Nebula, both Team Space teams. Now we're looking a bit on a hybrid map, Numbani. I wonder how both teams are going to actually run with this, because looking at how they ran last time, it seemed like Constellation did not have the... it looks like Nebula had the upper hand. They were very good with their positioning, good with picking out their team fights, but looking at these team cons now, we're going to be seeing Team Constellation on... on defense here. Looks like they're going to be running the May to be able to choke off, to wall off some chokes here. Also running that soldier to be able to get that damage out. We're running the 2-2-2 comp here. We all know that triple tank is a meta, but 2-2 can work here. Seeing as May is practically a tank, she has so much survivability, and those walls are very helpful in being able to hold these sort of points. Looking on the other opposite side of the spectrum, we do see Team Nebula here are running that 2-2-2 as well. They're running instead. Now, they had a roster change. They now have Kobe in on that McCree and Fallen Shackle now on that Farah. So, hopefully we're going to be seeing some good damage coming out from them. Kobe, hopefully being able to make the most out of McCree, seeing as there aren't any flankers on Team Constellation at this current moment, and nobody that high in the sky. Hopefully he can get that damage out. As we're going to be seeing both teams initiating in here. We're going to be seeing Team Constellation holding in the standard area up top. This May is a little bit of a weird pick, but it can work seeing as they do cross off those chokes and give their Reinhardt time to get up that Reinhardt shield. We're going to see Team Nebula coming in, trying to take this high ground as soon as possible, fighting through this choke. It's going to be a little poke of the choke battle here for a little while, but Team Constellation, we are holding a little bit far back than I see normal teams. We're going to see AA trying to knock a few people off here, but not really being that successful. But we see AA coming in here, getting, Fallen Shackle knocking a few people off, doing the job AA was supposed to do. Fallen Shackle picking out that kill on Zareth. That's going to be a heavy pick coming into this fight. We see a few members of Nebula chasing a few members chasing this Lucio, trying to look to pick him out. Down goes Alpha Kiwi, but so Nebula do have this pick sort of situation where they have more picks on the enemy team, but we do see Zareth coming back in here soon, so they're going to be able to have a whole bad things back up. Kobe taking out that kill on Galfor. Good job by Kobe, getting out that by himself. AA coming around on that flank, being able to make sure that soldier does go down. Team Nebula doing a good job here as Zareth tries to delay this point. In this situation, as Nebula, the ball they are coming through, crushing through them, snowballing. Good job by Nebula, as Nebula will be taking this first point, unless looks like what Constellation is going to be doing is they're going to be coming in, trying to delay this point. Zareth jumping on, trying to delay. Out comes the high noon from Kobe, looking to pick up a kill here, completely pushing them off the point. Looks like the point will be going to Team Nebula. They have 5 minutes on the clock to be able to push it to the next destination. AA picking up that kill on Warfare, so Warfare will be a little bit staggered, but he will get back in time before this next team fight does come back. We're going to be seeing no roster changes coming in from Constellation. They are fairly sure this May... Oh, no, wait, no, we see the May swishing off to Widowmaker here, looking to be able to get some of those high impact picks, especially on that Farah. That Farah is going to be dangerous when she's in the sky, seeing as she does have that ult, and Bacon has his ult as well. That could be comboed together to be able to completely shred for the enemy team, seeing as Alpha Kiwi does not have his ult. That does mean that they're not going to have that ability to stay alive if that big bomb does come by. You see Alpha Qwerty and Fallen Shackle having their own little duel in the back here. Looks like both members have to back off here. We see Diva Bomb coming around the back, not really picking up anybody from Aya, but they do have that backline flank. Out comes the ult from Fallen Shackle, looking to get that rocket barrage off on a few people, but Iron Qwerty does manage to take him out. That was a good job. Out comes the tactical visor by Iron Qwerty, looking to pick up a few kills here. Does pick up the kill on Bacon. That's going to be a heavy impact. Also goes down Pyrofrost. Good snipes coming in from Warfare there. Managing to pick up that kill, and looks like Team Nebula are a little bit caught out in this situation with that Reinhardt caught in the back. Gonna lead to a bit of a situation where he is going to be staggered, leading to Team Constellation having a better hold. Now, what we saw a lot of there is Team Nebula did try to go for that flank, but it didn't really end up working out for them, seeing as Iron Qwerty and Warfare did manage to get their respective picks, doing quite a lot of damage in that sort of situation, and getting those high impact picks. We now see a switch onto Genji from Fallen Shackle. He's going to be going down here because Iron Qwerty did catch him out there in a bad situation. but that means Team Nebula are going to have to wait before they initiate in this situation. We do see Team Constellation with more ults in this situation and a lot of support ults. Out comes the self-destruct sequence. Since I start talking, gets caught in the air. Gelfor coming out with that Earth Shatter, managing to pick up a kill on Bacon. Really good job. That's going to be very important coming in this fight as Fallen Shackle does come back in here. Out comes the Nano Boost on Gelfor, looking to get pick up some things, but Grasshopper does Earth Shatter the Constellation team, but this fight is going in the hands of Constellation as they were able to get more picks out in that situation. Warfare being quite scary on that Widowmaker there, doing quite a lot of picks and finishing off in a lot of those team fights. Looking back at the ult management here, we do see Alpha Kiwi with that Lucio ult going to be able to keep his team alive. I'm Qwerty coming up soon with his tactical visor, going to be able to pretty much reliably do a lot of damage and keep the team alive. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, we do see Nebula with Kobe's ult and Bacon's ult. Those two are going to be very important coming into this fight because those can be comboed with many other things. Speaking of ults, out comes Alpha Kiwi's sound barrier, managing to keep a few people alive. I'm Qwerty popping his tactical visor, picking up 2 kills. We see Warfare getting caught in a bad situation with Fallen Shackle, but does manage to take him out with some help with some good mechanics. This fight will be going in the hands of Constellation. We're seeing some really good plays coming out from both of these teams today. Both teams are doing incredibly well in their defense and pushing, but sadly, Nebula aren't able to get anything. They didn't expend any ults in that situation, so they will be holding them on to this next battle with 1 minute and 27 seconds left on the clock. Will they be able to push it? It's all going to come down to if they win this team fight. Because if they manage to win this team fight, they're going to be able to push all the way to this point, and then they're going to gain more time for another push. But we do see Constellation with a lack of ults in their possession at this current moment, which could lead to quite a bad position. We see Dragonblade coming out from Fallen Shackle, trying to pick up a few kills, gets a kill on Warfare, and Zeref. Zeref goes down as well. Down goes Alpha Kiwi as well. Kobe popping off his High Noon, looking to pick up some kills. Good job. Out comes A's ult here, trying to just clean up after this battle. This is exactly what Team Nebula needed to be able to take this point, as they do. So they will be getting that extra time on the clock to push it to the end. We did see a little bit of too much ult coming out there, seeing as a few members of that team will not have their ult for this next battle that will be coming up. With 2 minutes left on the clock, will they be able to push this? On the opposite side of the spectrum, once again, we see Constellation with a few ults up and ready to be able to deal with whatever Nebula throws at Constellation, as Nebula do have that sort of steamrolling push, but Fallen Shackle does get picked out by Warfare here. Warfare doing an amazing job on this Widowmaker, picking up all the kills that he needs to, as we see Kobe trying to bull him around. Warfare does go down by Kobe. Good job understanding that situation. We see Winston jumping in here from Team Nebula, looking to get some damage out. Out comes that Earth Shatter from Galthor, and the self-destruct sequence coming down, trying to blow a few people up. Does manage to get Kobe and Grasshopper picking up the kill on Alpha Kiwi. That's going to be quite helpful. Zeref picking up the kill on Grasshopper, so that's going to be quite a good hold from Constellation here as they're able to fight all of the members of Team Nebula off in that situation. It was a really good pick coming out from Warfare here at straight at the beginning on that Widowmaker, but it does look like he has been switched off of that Widowmaker to make room for the Tracer flank and extra damage, because Widowmaker cannot always be reliable on picks in that sort of situation, because they were looking at ways of being able to counter and focus her. With 50 minutes left on the clock, we see Nebula with quite a few ults, with that CC, going to look to be able to do quite a lot here. Bacon's coming up with his ult just as well, looking to able to get that nano boost off to get a lot of damage. Qwerty taking that high ground. Out we see both ults coming. We see a few Earth Shatters coming out, but not really much doing anything. We see Galfor's Earth Shatter coming out much better, but that nano boost does come out on Galfor here, trying to zone a bunch of the members of Team Constellation, as Constellation do win that fight, managing to pick off all the members in their backline. Looks like this is going to be quite a close push with 20 seconds left on the clock. Will Nebula be able to push this point? We're going to see coming in here, Aya almost going down in a second. Yep, there we go. Aya is now down to Slips, doing a good job there. We see a few members of, we see the nano boost is coming out on Galfor. Both sound barriers, both coming out. We see the ult coming out from Fallen Shackle, that tactical visor, looking to do quite a lot there. Galfor managing to swing around his hammer, trying to just delay this point, make sure nobody can get it. Team Nebula not looking like they have many members on point, so this fight will be going to Constellation, not letting Nebula take that last point. Good job by Team Constellation with that hold. Well, we saw a lot in that last team fight. is that Nebula weren't able to, well, when they pushed, they weren't able to completely wipe, so they weren't able to get a lot on that situation, and they were losing too many members to be able to go for that second push, though they weren't fully wiping the enemy team. Going to be seeing Warfare possibly back on this Widowmaker. Really good picks coming out last time. If they manage to get those few picks on attack, that can mean a lot, seeing as they have the I'm not actually I believe they have the closer spawn, which can lead to a lot of better situations for Team Constellation. Nebula, on the other hand, taking a little while to decide their characters. They're not entirely sure what they want to run here. While it looks like Constellation are more fair, they look like they're going for a sort of dive comp slash pick comp to be able to immediately jump on Nebula, spread them around, and do a lot. We didn't really see much of I am QWERTY on Tracer, so hopefully we can see some good plays coming from there. We're now looking over at Team Nebula, running that, well, we're going to see with their last team member. We're seeing a Mercy here, which might be quite good, but that dive comp will try to shut her down as soon as possible before she gets that ult. We see the 2-2-2 coming out once again. Mei on follow Shackle on that Mei, looking to be able to buy more time for their team, and that's quite a good idea coming from them. Now, talking about what happened last map, what we saw a lot is Team Nebula didn't have the fighting power to be able to take those fights. They seem to be often picked off near the ends of those fights, which wasn't looking that good. Hopefully they're able to hold their ground this time with that ult from Pyrofrost. We'll be able to keep, we'll be able to get that res off, giving them more time to be able to fight. As we see Team Constellation, I'm QWERTY, sorry, coming around the back here, trying to look to jump on that point, scan them around, but getting put to sleep, almost going down. We see just as that time, Team Constellation sprinting in through the top, managing to knock a few people off. Galfor getting separated from his team, but does have that shield to be able to back himself up from that Mei. Looks like Alpha Kiwi getting that boop on Mei. Down goes Mei. Baker caught in a bad position here, away from his team. We see a few members, we see all of the members of Nebula trying to scatter around the fight, get their little picks off, but it is not working. Zeref getting caught in a bad position, might be going down to the AA. Good job by AA here, as Warfare and Slips caught in a bad position. We see both Reinhardt swinging around, trying to take each other down in the situation. I'm QWERTY helping his buddy Galfa out. Looks like this fight will be going to Team Constellation here, as they take to this point very quickly, much faster than Team Nebula did. And once again, looking back at these team ult managements, well, team ult economy, sorry, we see Galfor with that CC coming up quite soon. I'm QWERTY having that big pulse bomb coming in soon. Quite game turning if you're able to get it on a key member of the enemy team or get it on a lot of members. We see now Fallen Shackle on that Genji, no longer running that Mercy, seeing as they can't hold a quite static point. Now they have a point that does move, so they have to move with the battlefield in that situation. So looking to be able to move themselves easy. You see I'm QWERTY in the back line here, looking to be able to do some damage, get some important picks out here, getting around without getting spotted. Pyrofox actually notices I'm QWERTY here. Kobe looking to be able to just stop this coming from in. But we see at this time, Team Constellation making quite a good push onto this point, getting it quite far into this little choke corner, so they're able to out-choke the enemy team if that does come by. We see Galfor with his ult ready, I'm QWERTY with his ult ready, Zeref also with that Transcendence is going to be able to keep a few members alive. Kobe picking up that kill on Slips, good job by him. Fallen Shackle looking quite low in that situation, but being able to keep himself alive. Zeref looking quite low, out comes that self-destruct sequence, not picking up any kills, but scaring off a few members of the Team Constellation. As we see, the Reinhardt does go a little bit too deep here. Bad job by Galfor, but he does have his team to back him up. But down goes Zeref and both members of that team. So, good hold by Nebula here. Now, what we also did see there was a little bit of an overextension by Team Constellation, as Nebula were able to punish them in that situation. We see no roster changes. Warfare not really picking up as many picks as we saw last time. Probably not able to get those the position to actually get anything off. But Constellation doing a good job in holding a lot of their ults, so they're going to be able to use a lot of ults in this next fight, unless they have good team management and hold on to quite a lot of those ults, comboing quite a few things together. We don't see really many combo ults coming out from Constellation here, but hopefully they're able to get their individual picks. I'm Quiddy coming in with the Pulse Bomb, not managing to actually get a thing. Out comes the Earth Shatter by Grasshopper, but not managing to pick it up. And Galford coming up here, Earth Shatter. Sound Barrier coming out from Nebula, also with that Ana Boost on Grasshopper, trying to get damage out, managing to pick off that kill on Galford. Out comes that Genji ult, looking to get that Dragon Blade out. Out comes the Tranquility, trying to keep a few members alive, but Slips does get taken out of that mech, popping off that mech in a bad situation where it didn't really do too much, but Grasshopper does go down. That leaves a few members of Team Nebula in a bad position where they don't really have a core tank. Slips trying to get that damage out on Kobe. Looks like Aya coming around the back, trying to get that kill on Alpha Kiwi. Alpha Kiwi caught in a bit of a bad session. Out comes the ult from Kobe, getting it deleted by the Slips here. Good job, Kobe trying to hold on a bit longer, but does end up taking Slips out of that mech. Will he be able to get the pick on Slips, however, as this point does get pushed a bit further on Constellation, holding that forward point. Both teams very low on ult, but Alpha Kiwi does have that ability to keep his team members alive, but Galford does get to take it down by Nebula, pushing in very deep there to be able to get that kill, and also getting that kill on I'm Quirty, pushing them back in that situation. All of those ults did kind of go to waste, seeing as they weren't able to get that much distance and that much actual stuff coming out. Now, Grasshopper's going to have that CC back up, so that's going to be very important for this next fight. In conjunction to I Am Quirty, with that Pulse Bomb, we'll be able to try to get some kills out there. Did with that Pulse Bomb earlier, which wasn't that great. Wasting ults is the thing you do not want in this game. Hopefully he's able to get out a kill on possibly Bacon or a high impact target, maybe getting it out on Grasshopper. But we see both teams trying to initiate here. We see we see Pulse Bomb completely whiffing again. The Sound Barrier coming out from Alpha Kiwi, trying to keep a few members alive, but it does not help because Grasshopper does go a little bit too deep here as Slips trying to punish him for that situation. Out comes the self-destruct from Nebula, managing, not really picking up a kill there, but good job by Constellation Warfare, picking up all those kills. Triple kill, good job Warfare, managed to get quite some high impact picks there. Constellation will be taking this point, and with that minute and 17 seconds left on the clock, will be gaining that extra minute to push it all the way to the end. Now, if they are able to actually get it all the way past where Team Nebula did, that's going to be a straight win for them. But Nebula, all they have to do is actually delay this point for long enough, for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Warfare picking up another kill on Bacon. Good job, I'm Cody. This could be initiation coming in here. We see a hook on I'm Cody. I'm Cody does go down. Good job by Fallen Shackle as this fight does disengage. And waiting for that member, I'm Cody, to come back to that team. This, we see Constellation with that ult advantage to be able to do quite a lot here. Galfor looking for that Earth Shatter. If he does get it, oh, now that shield is down from Grasshopper, that could mean out comes that self-destruct from Slips there, but not really picking up anything, not really doing too much. We see Grasshopper caught, a bunch of teams caught in this little situation, this little corridor. Looks like it's coming out in Team Nebula as they're managing to zone a lot of members off, and winning that little fight in that corner was a good job by Nebula. That's exactly what they needed to be able to stop the snowbally effect that was coming from Constellation. Yeah, as we see, both teams are very good at holding their ults and being good with their ult management in these situations. We're seeing a lot from both teams. Just these little picks can mean so much in these fights. Even just the littlest pick on any member can mean so much. Warfare getting those picks, looking really great every time. We see the Winston trying to get away I Am Quirty in this situation just to make sure to zone him out of that situation so he can't come in, get that Pulse Bomb. We see, whoa, we actually started a Pulse Bomb coming out on Fallen Shackle, so that means there's going to be the one player leave for Constellation as they come in. Out comes that Earth Shatter from Galfor and the Sound Barrier by Team Nebula, looking to try to keep them 10 members alive in that fight. Out comes the Nano Boost and Earth Shatter on Grasshopper, trying to get those damage out. Warfare picking up that kill on Kobe. Galfor swinging his hammer around, getting taken down himself. This looks like it's going to be going in the way of Nebula, as quite a few members, a lot of the members of Team Constellation aren't in the position to be able to push this point. There's going to be quite a drastic push coming in this last bit, seeing as Constellation do only have 30 seconds left on the clock to get the point just a little bit more a bit of the way, so they're going to have to use their ults quite effectively here. Bullet Shackle does go down, so they do have that pick advantage for Team Constellation, but they do have the forward spawn Team Nebula, so they might be able to actually hold this point. With these 16 seconds left, we're going to be seeing another initiation coming in quite soon. Galfor missing his Fire Struck, looking for that quite... out comes the self-destruct, not picking up any kills, and out comes another self-destruct by one of the team members. Kobe looking to get that high noon off, but doesn't really pick up anything. Good shielding coming out from Galeful. We see Tranquility coming out from Team Constellation, trying to look to keep a lot of members alive. We see a lot of members of Team Constellation winning these fights against Team Nebula. This might lead for the win. Out comes that Earth Shatter from Galeful, picking up that Diva mech, and this fight, by the looks of it, it's going to be taking to Team Constellation, taking this win. Good job by them. Looking to be seeing another delay by Kobe, but Kobe does go down, and so this game will be going to Team Constellation. Good job by them. Like we saw there, they're just snowballing off the little picks that they get in these fights. I love seeing teams like this that work very well together, have good coordination, and really good job by Team Constellation. So, seeing as this is a best of 5, we'll be back for another map, which the next map will be a capture point map. So the loser will be choosing the next capture point map. So Nebula will be choosing the next map. We'll see you all then. We'll be back shortly. Real quick, we just got to point out here, Warfare, look at these kills.